Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to our respected lecturer, Sir Muhammad Arif bin Uthman. We are from Group 6, and for our literacy commentary, we chose the short story The Necklace. Without further ado, let me introduce myself and my group members. I'm Marisha Zani, and these are my group members, which are Muhammad Haiman, Alia Natasha, Nurul Nasuha, and Nur Izzati Shamimi. I'll be starting off by giving you a little general information of the short story and the author himself. The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant, first published in 17 February 1884 in the French newspaper Les Gaulois. This short story is famous for its twist ending, which suits Guy de Maupassant's style of story. Guy de Maupassant, or in full, Henry René Albert Guy de Maupassant, born in 5th of August 1850 at Château-de-Miromesnil near the French. He died in 6th of July 1893 at Paris. He is a French naturalist, writer of short stories and novels, and known as the greatest French short story writer. Some of his notable works are A Woman's Life, Bel Ami, and Bout de Suif. We chose these literary elements, which are plot, characters, and themes. The plot will be discussed by Izzati Shamimi, continuing to Alia on characters, Haiman in themes and justification on why we chose this short story, and lastly, Nasuha, which she will give the summary and ends the whole presentation. Now, I'll proceed the presentation to Izzati Shamimi to discuss the plot.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Yani, for sharing some information about the necklace and the background of the author of the story, which is Guy de Maupassant. Now, I will continue with our first literary elements, which is the plot of the story. As you can see in the screen, there is plots that consist 6 parts, which are exposition, conflict, rising action, climax, falling action, and the resolution. So, now I will explain about the first part of the plot, which is exposition. So, what does exposition mean? It is a beginning of the story where characters and setting are introduced. So, in this story, we have Matilda, who was a pretty lady that married to a clerk. She suffered a lot of misery as she felt that she had been born for better things. She will be daydreaming of living a luxurious life all days. One day, her husband came home with full of joy. He brings an invitation to a ball for both of them. He thought that his wife would be happy with the invitation, but she only got angry because she thinks she will look ugly at the party. Next, we'll move to the second part of plot, which is conflict. Conflict is the dramatic struggle between two forces in a story. Without conflict, there is no plot. So, the conflict in the story is Matilda Giselle was upset since she didn't have beautiful dress to wear to the ball. So, her husband decided to give her 400 francs for her to buy a new dress. But even after buying the new dress, she's still not satisfied with her look, since she has no jewels to complete her look. Her husband suggests her to borrow a necklace from her wealthy friend. Next is rising action. Rising action is where the main character faces a series of conflicts. So, rising action in the necklace story is when Madame Forestier lends Matilda a diamond necklace from her collection. On the day of the ball, Matilda wears the necklace and felt very satisfied with her look. She was stunning and gained lots of attention at the party. Matilda is the most stood out, looking prettier and more elegant than the others. Matilda felt very happy and proud as everyone at the ball loved her look. Next, move to the fourth part of plots in the story, which is the climax. So, what does climax means? Climax is the most exciting part of the story, which when we learn the outcome, the climax begins in the story when Matilda and her husband went back home after the party. At that moment, she realized that she lost the necklace that Madame Forestier gave to her. She was scared and distressed. The couple searched for the necklace everywhere but couldn't find it. After searching for the necklace for a week, they finally gave up and decided to replace the necklace with a new one. With no money, they have to find a new way to collect 36,000 francs to replace the necklace with the new one. Next, falling action. Falling action is where the events of the story leading to the end. So, in the necklace, Matilda and her husband gather the money by borrowing from others. Once they have obtained 36,000 francs, they buy a similar looking necklace and give the replacement to Madame Forestier. For the next 10 years, they work hard to pay off all of their debts. So for the last part of the plot in the story is resolution. Resolution is the end of the story. So the Louiselles finally success paid all the debts after work hard for 10 years. Madame Louiselle had aged and was no longer pretty as in her young age. One day, she suddenly met Madame Forestier at the park. She told the truth about the missing necklace and what she did in order to pay back the necklace. Madame Forestier just laughed and told her that actually her necklace was a fake. All right, I've done with the explanation of what in the necklace short story. Now, I will be passing my mic to Alia Natasha to continue with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Zati. Now, I will be talking about the characteristics of the characters in this story. As you know, Matilda Loisel is the protagonist, or known as the main character of the story. Matilda Loisel's primary character traits are her beauty, her vanity, and her social ambition, which play their part in leading her to her ruin. She was one of those pretty and charming young creatures who sometimes are born, as if by a slip of fate, into a family of clerks. She is ungrateful, selfish, and greedy to her husband. No matter what her poor loving husband does to make her happy, it is never enough for her. This was shown when her husband came back home from work, but Matilda does not seem to bother about her husband's presence at all, while other ladies would feel very happy and welcome their husbands with open arms when they are home from work. One day, she lost the necklace which she lent from her friend. She feels indebted to her friend and is willing to work to pay back the necklace, and submits to a life of poverty. She is like a nemesis to her husband, who had endured 10 years of hard work and sacrifice, which she then ruined their lives with her ambition. Next one is, let's talk about the characteristics of the supporting character, who are Monsieur Loisel, her husband, and Madame Forestier, Matilda's friend. Okay, so who is Monsieur Loisel? Monsieur Loisel is Matilda Loisel's husband. He is a loving and an honest person. He wants to do what his wife wants, or anything to make her happy, though it is never enough for her. He does not seem to mind his life, despite the fact that he is simply a clerk. Moreover, he is content with his life and does not understand why his wife is not and will always complain about her life. There is another supporting character that I've mentioned earlier, which is the characteristics of Matilda, Loisel's friend, who is Madame Forestier, who is extremely wealthy. Madame Forestier is a kind and generous person. Despite their income disparity, Madame Forestier does not hesitate to assist Matilda when she requests jewelry for the event. Madame Forestier even demonstrates her compassion by providing the jewelry to Matilda without hesitation. And that is all from me. I shall pass the mic to my friend who will be presenting the next part. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to Alia and Natasha for the wonderful explanation about the characters in the necklace. Now I will continue with the last literary element, which is the theme. Our group analyzed the theme of the story and found four major points. The first is reality and illusion, which shows that reality always contradicts our imagination. In this story, it can be seen that Matilda is losing sight of facts to create a false appearance, which will lead her to disaster, and the appearance of wealth among people in social events relies on illusion, even for the rich people. Moreover, women and beauty are one of the major themes of the story. The author wrote in his story that beauty cannot always elevate a woman's social status. Also, he showed that beauty could be poisonous and degrade a person's character. Furthermore, another major theme identified is ambition, greed, and material possessions. In this story, the author creates an ambitious yet greedy character and has presented to the readers that a terrible consequences will be paid if greed controls us. Matilda was ambitious to raise her social status, but she was not grateful and she lied to her friend about the necklace that she lost, which had marked the beginning of her terrible fate. Last but not least, our group has identified happiness as one of the major themes of the story. At the near end of the story, the author wrote that Matilda regretted her decision to take the necklace that she lost at the ball, which led her to work for 10 years to pay off all her debts. The author hints to the readers that one must not look at what one does not have, but look at what is already in one's reach to find happiness in a meaningful way. Continuing further with the presentation, there are a few reasons why we chose this story for our literary commentary assignment. The first one is that we learn about France's society when wealth was the most important aspect of society throughout the entire plot of the story. It shows that grand appearance in social events is just an illusion. Also, the story teaches us that honesty is very important. Although it may be bitter, the outcome will always be good. Moving on, the characters in the story teach us that we must not think and act beyond our limits. We must be satisfied with what we have and not compare with other people. Life and happiness cannot, since happiness cannot be measured with worldly things. Finally, the theme of the story was interesting and very relatable to our daily life. Most of the theme in the story focuses on the reality of our world and they contribute a lot to the attraction of this story. That is all from me about the theme of the necklace and the justification of why we chose this short story. Without further ado, I will pass the turn to speak to Nurul Nasuha to continue with the presentation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Hyman, for the presentation. Now, let's recall and summarize some major points about the short story, The Necklace. The Necklace was written by G. de Maupassant, also known as the greatest French short story writer. Some of the well-known pieces are A Woman's Life, Belle Army, and Bobby Swift. He first published The Necklace on the 17th February 1884. The Necklace is a short story based in France in the late 19th century. It tells the story of Mathilde Roussel, a beautiful middle-class lady who dreamed to have a luxurious life. She is envious of those who are of a higher social status, which leads her to borrow her friend's necklace to impress those at the ball. Unfortunately, she accidentally lost her friend's necklace and had to replace it with a new one. After years of hard work to recover the debts, she meets her friends again and decides to tell the truth about the necklace. In the end, the author brings a plot twist to the story, revealing that the necklace is actually a cheap fake. In the story, the necklace one of the themes is ambition, greed, material possession, The author highlights the mentality of the late 19th century French society where people would judge on their appearance and wealth rather than personality. Through the use of realistic description and characterization, the protagonist of the story, Matilda, portrayed the French society's concern with superficial materialism. On the other hand, Matilda's husband contrasts her characteristic throughout the story. Her husband seems to be content with the life they live despite just being a clerk. The main message that the author tries to convey in the story is that we should be what we are. False pride is the cause of our suffering. The loss of the necklace by Matilda was not a big loss. Things could have been settled, right, if she had confessed the loss of the necklace to the owner, Madame Forestier. This small lapse or mistake of Matilda makes her whole life miserable and dull. And the irony was the cause of all this suffering was a false necklace. So that is all for the summary of the short story, The Necklace. With that being said, we have finally finished our presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope the presentation brings benefit and amusement to the audience watching. That is all from us. Thank you.